Hello friends, James Stevenson back with part 26 of my Tesla Q3 2022 earnings forecast review video series. And there is a time-honored axiom in public speaking when delivering any message, really, especially a complex message. Tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them, and then tell them what you told them. So, in this part 26, I will be reviewing my forecast in a much more rapid-fire fashion. So we're going to go back and do an overview. What should we have learned from this series? And in the first part of that, I'm going to go through really the first 9 parts of this review series, but I'm going to do it really fast. So if after all of this is over with, if people want to do the super quick version, this is that super quick version. So what I'll do is share my desktop and bring up PowerPoint. Why PowerPoint and not Excel? Because in this video I'm just going to cover the charts that we saw in parts 1 through 9 of this video series. What's this first one say? It says Tesla is going to expand production of especially Model Y globally, but other vehicles as well moving into the future. That's what this says. If you want to get more information on what I think about this chart, watch part 1. These next few charts are breakdowns of that same idea. So this one shows models S, 3, X, and Y. You see S and X on here are pretty small compared to 3 and Y. This chart shows only models 3 and Y, and the main point here is, hey, even though the Model 3, I'm not forecasting to continue growing by leaps and bounds, that doesn't mean there's some kind of a problem. It just means that what Tesla wants to do is maximize global production of Model Y first, and that's a smart business move since Model Y is more profitable per vehicle sold than Model 3 is. The next chart here just shows production versus deliveries and how those two change over time. You've got actuals and forecasts on this chart. The next chart shows adjusted Ebitda. So this chart is just showing that the numbers we've seen so far are tiny compared to the numbers that Tesla will be reporting over the next few quarters and especially the next few years. The biggest question mark in my forecast going forward is how well will Tesla be able to improve and monetize FSD. I have what I believe to be a moderate, like a midpoint assumption in there for how well Tesla is going to be able to improve and monetize FSD, but they could beat or miss my assumptions by billions of dollars per quarter, as you can see on the scale here. Next is a chart showing how Tesla makes its average dollar of revenue. Mostly it's coming from selling cars, with the orange blocks there being pretty small most of the time. They were pretty big in 2020, but they've been getting smaller ever since. So when somebody says most of Tesla's revenue is regulatory credit sales, you can show them this chart and tell them why they're wrong. Also, the energy sector I expect to grow over time, even relative to automotive, which is going to be growing quite a lot. Every quarter on this has to add up to 100 because it is a forced distribution of the average dollar of revenue from each trailing 12-month period. This next chart shows how Tesla spends its average dollar of revenue. Most of what Tesla spends money on is making the factories that make its cars go. But that will become less and less true over time as Tesla is able to make cars more profitably. So Tesla will be keeping more of each dollar of revenue as profits. Non-GAAP earnings are those green bars you see getting bigger and bigger over time, with the U.S. 2022 Inflation Reduction Act being a big part of why that everything else excluding stock comp number is smaller now than I was forecasting it in previous quarters. Tesla will be receiving benefits by virtue of making so many batteries and electric vehicles and other items that are incentivized by that bill. Here's a chart that shows Tesla's non-GAAP earnings per delivery and how those are going to grow over time. Tesla used to lose money, but they don't anymore. And that's true even if you just throw out the regulatory credits revenue per vehicle. Tesla used to lose money back in 2019 on that basis, which is not valid. But going forward, Tesla will be making lots of profit regardless when they declare the deferred tax asset benefits. Next is a chart showing Tesla's inventory, production, and deliveries for all sites and models over time. So expect that to climb to record highs in Q3, Q4, and every quarter next year. That is what's in my forecast. Here's a chart showing that the expense related to the CEO Performance Award, the stock compensation plan for Elon Musk, has mostly been paid already, with very little expense left to pay against that, and I expect it'll be fully paid off. $2.283 billion expensed by the end of this year, with super tiny amounts left to hit Tesla's P&L. Here's a chart showing that the average revenue per delivery has been declining since 2018, bottomed early in 2021, and has been climbing since. But the trend for automotive gross margin, excluding regulatory credits, if you throw the regulatory credits out, has been climbing, with the exception of Q2 when the Shanghai lockdowns prevented a lot of production from China getting out. Next chart showing the revenue per cash delivery and the cost of sales per cash delivery as the red and black bars here, with the number of cash deliveries being shown as the line chart here. So the revenue per cash delivery bottomed again at the beginning of 2021 and has been climbing since. And what I'm forecasting for Q3 and Q4 is about the same cost per vehicle that we saw in Q2. Now, Tesla could beat these numbers, but whether they beat them or not, the revenue per vehicle is going to beat what we've seen in the past because Tesla has been raising prices, and more of those price increases actualize to the P&L every quarter as those vehicles that were ordered after the price increase get delivered. Here's a chart showing Tesla's revenue since inception. You can't even see the bars back here because the white border around them takes up all of the space. But look at this, just climbing, and climbing some more. It ought to be obvious to anyone that Tesla's revenue is growing and will continue to into the future. I say it ought to be obvious to anyone because it isn't obvious to the Tesla haters and short sellers and skeptics and bears. Next a tweet showing, not a tweet, next a chart showing the next 12 months non-GAAP EPS for Tesla. This is on a linear basis, and it's on a post-split basis. So after the 5-for-1 and 3-for-1 stock splits, how much has the next 12 months EPS been in each of these quarters, the 4 quarters that follow? So what you see here is the first period that I'm forecasting that we don't know yet. This is the most recent period that we have actuals for. So we know what actually happened in the 4 quarters that followed Q2 of 2021. Tesla made $3.30 of earnings per share. I expect that number to climb on a 12 trailing month basis, a smoothed basis, to $4 in Q3 and then to $5 in Q4. So this will be the full year 2022 number here, being the next 12 months that followed Q4 2021. I hope that's not too confusing. And this includes 45 cents worth of one-time tax benefits that Wall Street would back out anyway, so $4.85 on an adjusted basis. This is the same chart as the one we just saw, except on a logarithmic scale. So you see 25 cents, 50 cents, $1, $2, $4 here. So a straight line across these means exponential growth for Tesla, with just a little pause here in Q2 due to those Shanghai lockdowns, and resuming that same exponential growth in earnings. This is the Stevenson indicator chart, which makes my face turn blue because I have a 70-inch TV in front of me, shining all that blue light on me. If you want to understand more about Stevenson indicator, I made a whole playlist dedicated to that topic, but you can see how Tesla's actual closing stock price has performed against just $1.69 per 3 trading days since. I have updated this language since. And that's it. So with that, I will outro and say, if you've enjoyed the first part of my forecast review in a hurry series, click the like button. If you're not subscribed to my channel, you could subscribe to my channel and get more videos like this as they become available. And I will see you in the next part.